A student writes that I mentioned that it is impossible to make this world a much better place. However, this student says she always thinks that Buddhism is about cultivating compassion in ourselves and towards other living things. So isn't this about making the world a better place? So what I need to explain then is that there are two main different types of Buddhism. One type of Buddhism is called Mahayana Buddhism. The other type of Buddhism is called Theravada. In Mahayana Buddhism, the general idea is that people who listened to the Buddha's teachings, they didn't want to be a student of the Buddha and learn to enlighten and achieve the end or the cessation of personal suffering like the Buddha was teaching. Instead, what they did was, how do I be a Buddha? So it wasn't about being a student of the Buddha, but it was about passing through many, many lifetimes of doing great deeds and good things and collecting enough merit and enough perfection in order to be born a Buddha, as the Buddha of our generation, or 2,005 years ago, 500 years ago, was born. And that Buddha spoke about all the times of past lives and collecting so much merit and doing so much good in order to be able to become this Buddha, who was the first of the era to be able to self-enlighten and then teach others. So people listen to this story and they think, I want to be just like the Buddha. I want to emulate the Buddha. So when they emulate the Buddha, they're following what's called the Bodhisattva path. And they're looking to be a good person, sharing compassion in the world, being helpful, doing healing, and collecting all these great qualities like compassion, generosity, like having a lot of patience and perseverance, having loving kindness. Now in the Theravada tradition, what we do in the Theravada tradition is we follow not what the Buddha did. We follow what the Buddha taught us to do. So here we're being a disciple or a student of the Buddha. So the Buddha said that what he teaches is suffering and how to end suffering. So our interest becomes in studying or learning about suffering and learning about the end of suffering within our own body and mind, within our own heart. It's about ending our own personal suffering. So these are two different paths. One is more of a path of compassion for others. This Theravada path is very much a path of ending personal suffering. So it's about looking within, not out in the world. Now the good news is, when you look within and you have enough mindfulness within, then what will happen is when negative or unwholesome states arise in our heart, like greed, like anger, these states will then drop off quickly, disappear quickly, and then for a few moments until the next one lurks and comes in, the mind is in a wholesome place, or in a very, well, let's say untainted place, a place of greater purity just for that moment. So if we act and speak from a place where there isn't any impurity or defilement that is coming in to manipulate the mind, then our actions will then be more skillful. Our actions will be more helpful. We'll naturally have more compassion, more loving kindness, more patience, more perseverance, and these types of things. Just because these things arise in the absence of greed and in the absence of things like anger, sadness, fear, aversion. So it's possible, technically, if enough people had enough mindfulness, that the world would be a better place. But that's not the concern of the Theravada Buddhist. The concern of the Theravada Buddhist is ending one's own personal suffering, and then once we're able to achieve at least enough of a state where we're able to reduce our own personal suffering, then to help and to teach others to do so as well. Now, what that does for the world is probably likely something good, but it's not really our concern. We're in the Mahayana tradition, collecting perfections and collecting merit, it's very much part of the concern of the Bodhisattva path. So hopefully that answers your question.